Okay, so in this video now we're going to explore the built-in admin feature that comes with Django. And so first, before we get started, we just want to make sure that the virtual environment's running. So env scripts activate. Mine's already running. And so now we can run the actual server. So python manage.py run server. And if we run the server and go back and check out the page and refresh this just to make sure that it's still working, you can see everything's working, home page, about page. And if you go to /admin, you can see that we get this login screen. So this is the built-in Django admin. And right now we can't log in because we don't have a username and password, we don't have users. So we need to get that set up. So if we go back to the terminal and stop the server, remember when we were first running the server and still we get these, you have 18 unapplied migrations, admin, auth, content type. Well, these are some built-in apps and data and databases that we need to apply, and this is one thing that we need to set up before we can use the admin. So to do this, we'll type python manage.py make migrations, which really just creates these migration files but doesn't actually do anything. And you can see no changes detected. That's because if we did something custom, which we will in the future, we'll see changes here. But right now everything, the migrations were already made. But we need to do one last thing, python manage.py migrate. And now this is the command that actually runs those migrations and will create changes. So now if we run this, we'll see changes being made, and you can see how it's applying all of these built-in migrations that Django came with, and some of them are related to auth and admin. So now that we have these migrations made, we need to create a user. And Django comes with a command, python manage.py create super user, all one word, which creates basically an admin user, a super user who has power to do anything. And you have to create a username, so we'll just use djvac, an email address, dom@sup.com, a password. I will just use password 123, password 123. It's a common password, that's fine. If you were doing this on a live site, you would do something more secure. But perfect, so now the user's set up, we can go ahead and run the server again. We can run the server and go back to our admin page and refresh it just to make sure everything's running smoothly. And sometimes it takes a second to process, but everything's running smoothly. So the username djvac and the password is password 123. And obviously this is just my local machine, so there's no threat here, but if it was a live site, you'd want something more secure. And awesome, so now we're in. And so this basically is an interface where we can see the different data points and tables in our application and update them, delete things, add things. So we see groups and users. If we click users, then we can see here we have this that super user that we created. So you'll see whatever information you put in into your own terminal. And if we click an entry, you can update, delete the entry itself and change the information. And you can see that for this password, it's showing you the hashed password. So there's this built-in security. You can add a first name, last name, the email address. There's this permissions, which when we created the super user, we got all of the permissions. So can pretty much do anything in this admin site and to the site. And there's also groups and more defined user permissions, which we won't touch on yet. So we can save that even though we didn't make any changes. And then you can add and create new users or create new items right from this admin as well. So if we click this add button, then we can create a new user. So a username, we'll just say this is test. The password, this one might need to be secure, so just enter a password that passes their checks and click save. And hopefully those met the requirements. So they did. And now we can see that we've created this other user. We can just give them a test@sup.com email. And now you can see for the permissions here, though, they only got the active, which means they're just a normal user, an active user. but they didn't get staff status, so they can't log into this admin site, and they don't have super user status, meaning they can have all permissions. But now we can go ahead and save this. If we're looking at our users now, we see there's 2 entries. And so the breadcrumbs at the top let you navigate easily. So if we go back home, we can see that our authentication and authorization app has these 2 database models, groups and users. And in the next videos, we'll add more for the recipes and things that we'll display here. And one more thing to note is that you can also see recent actions, which is nice. So you can see what kind of actions were recently taken, things like creating new users like this test user, or updating things like we updated this test user, and so on and so forth. And so in the next video, we'll actually set up the database and use real data in our app, and also explore how to manipulate the data in this admin section as well. So if you enjoyed the video and want to support me, liking the video really helps motivate me to make more. If you are interested in other technologies, comment those below, and I will be sure to make videos on those in the future. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.